Hey everybody, it's Two Pretty D's. We're back with our next episode of Pomsetay Podcast, Sussex.
Hi, and this is podcast is all going to be a little decoupling of Megan's podcast with the Dragon Lady.
Referencing to Dragon Lady.
Okay.
But she had it with Margaret, Chao and Lisa Ling.
Ling. Right.
So where do you want to start?
Well, I thought it was really good the way Megan, she associates, she talks about the different archetypes, but what she does is she utilizes experts in the field.
Yes.
And she also has people on her podcast that are from that culture. There's no cultural appropriation here going on. Or
Correct.
She's not going to try to explain the Asian culture to anyone.
No, she's going to go right to the source.
Yes. But what I found was interesting was her experiences in the Asian culture, because she had such a diverse upbringing with her mom.
Yep.
And that's so kind of crossed over into some of our upbringing or some of the things,
Our experiences too.
Experiences with
Yes.
other people.
Right.
And it really wasn't more of an upbringing. It's just that with us being from the island, me being from the islands, my crossover would be East Asians, right?
Correct.
And then when you come to United States, we were just open to meeting all different people. And
You mean like the nice lady who, when I was little, used
Yes,
to
I-
babysit?
yeah, babysitting was expensive in Delaware where I worked. So there was this one lady who talked me into taking my daughter out of daycare because they'd send her home with wet diapers, different things, missing clothing, and she wanted a job. Really nice Chinese lady, and she said, I'll take care of your daughter for you. You don't have to worry about cooking food or bringing food, because I bring food, the first couple of times. And she was nice. We chat, we meet and talk a lot. And so she said, why don't we do something like this? So I said, okay, I don't have to go very far. I don't have to drive very far with her. So I would take my daughter to this lady, friend of mine. And I would pick her up, and if she wet herself or had any problems, I would be picking up my little Chinese daughter because she would dress my daughter in her daughter's clothing. And there was my little daughter eating a bowl of noodles. I was like, oh, that is so sweet. But so we've had, she's had a lot of experiences, and, I had a friend who,
Well, we could get to that, but
Yeah.
I think that was like a nice way to kind of transition into,
sure,
similarly how Megan, kicked off the podcast.
right,
And, just talking about those experiences. So, what was interesting though is around the stereotypes and, the terms that they used in the over sexualization, the
Right.
aggressiveness. I think she first spoke with Margaret Chao about her career and how she started out, being the only Asian comedian.
Yeah.
Or female Asian comedian.
right.
Yes.
And how she would be received by everybody,
Right.
All cultures, how she'd be received, and how much success she would have. And then one thing I did not know, that Margaret Cho was part of the LGBTQ community. That was new for me. Not that it means anything, but and I used to listen to her.
Yeah.
Always watch her show, but she led with her comedy.
Right.
And maybe I'm, as an older person, then you don't focus on that.
No.
That wasn't part of it. Yeah.
Well, I don't think no normal person would focus on that. It's
Right.
really about, who that person is and what are they bringing to the table. And she brought the funny then. And it was interesting though, when she said her dad, they had a what did she say? A gay bookstore? Or
Right.
something to the fact that
To try to show support for her.
Yes.
Yes.
Which I thought was so adorable. And, but she had talked about the Korean culture and, the favoritism towards men.
Yes.
And then the men being pretty.
Yes. And that brought us back to a lot of things that she was saying is so true, because, and just before I was going to talk about it earlier, is that I had one of my peers at work was Korean, and we were talking about church, and I didn't have a home church. So everybody would invite me to their churches, and I'd go. I was like, yeah, never going back there again. So I found that she invited me to her church.
I had to go through that same experience, y'all.
Yeah.
And I went by myself. Help me.
And I took her
Yes.
with me. And one thing about this church, it was a church where a lot of immigrants would also go to.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like the African American church where you have the community.
Yes.
You know, where you went there, you felt a sense of community. So a lot of Koreans would go to that church because that's where they had the sense of community. So they had two sections of the church. One was
The English speaking and
the
then
English
the Korean
speaking,
service.
and then the Korean service. And the English speaking were mostly people who had married someone in the Korean culture, male or female, who would come there and bring their kids, so the kids would be exposed to the Korean culture. And then us. Who went, and what they would do after, because there was
A big community
building, they would cook food. They would have
Fellowship.
And fellowship wasn't a donut. No,
Fellowship was a full meal.
It was japchae. It was the Korean pancakes.
Yes.
It was the soup. It was bibimbap.
Yes.
It was so many things, and we would just go and eat. So that's why we said, "Oh, we're coming back."
We're coming back for the food.
But so it's like the third time we went there, and
Yes.
they said, I said, "Well, we haven't decided if we're going to join this church or not." And they said, "You're already a member. You've been here twice. You're a member of the English service." And so, to make a long story short, next thing you know, we're teaching
Sunday
Sunday
school.
school. I had the 12th graders. They're all male, and this
7th and 8th.
7th and 8th graders,
yes,
and
the middle school
crew.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked out. And one of the things we were like, why are we going to this church? And we're not married into the Korean culture. Why are we going there? Well, I don't know if you remember, like not too long before that, there was, you mix races and of different cultures, and one doesn't know about the other culture,
Right.
and there's clashes.
Right.
And there was a really horrible clash with a Korean storekeeper who shot a black
Yes.
girl
Yes.
and killed her. And there was and we didn't, get into the details about that, but
there was a big animosity between both cultures.
between both cultures. So people were like surprised, like, well, why were we there?
Right.
And then once we delved deeper into that incident, and we said, you know what, maybe this would show Asians a different view of
Black people.
And I think we accomplished that because they wanted to sponsor this pretty D to go to Korea to teach English, to live there for a couple of years, and
안녕하세요.
and do all those different things, and appreciated the fact that she was helping their young kids
With tutoring.
with English and tutoring and writing, helping them write their college essays. So many.
I know, I got like 3 in.
Yeah, so many got into college because of her. So it's like maybe, you're not changing the culture, but you might just change one person's impression. Who knows what that person might turn out to be.
Right, but that one impression helped change the minds of who knows how many.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Definitely the guy who won King of High School.
Oh, yeah, the high school prom. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was king and the queen was a black girl. And he
I
was
know.
having a good time. And he was one of my
Sunday school
students. But it was like a real split in that Korean church where you had the wealthy who all went to the Korean speaking, and they spoke Korean properly. And because Korean is the youngest language ever invented so far by man. And they have a formal and informal. So if you spoke the formal, you would be in business, you would run a business, you would be in that class. If you spoke the informal, you were more like a middle class, type person. So you definitely saw that
So like your
dichotomy.
blue collar, white collar.
Well, yeah, and no, they're white collar, even harsher than American white collar.
I know.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know. Oh, so no, we're talking like blue blood.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And you know, a lot of our doctors became Korean, and they would give us freebies. Okay,
You're not supposed to get a ring secret.
but you know, they were very wealthy, and you know,
But it was interesting.
but they all wanted their kids to be doctors,
yes.
or lawyers or something, and
when Margaret was talking about
yes,
her experience,
yeah,
I know her parents probably were going through that same thing with
exactly.
her. But she was like, no, that's not
Right,
me.
exactly. And the struggle was real for a lot of them who did not make it into med school. You know, they were like, shun, go to the English office. Go with them. 'Cause you're not going to be a doctor, you're not going to be a lawyer. It's like, you know, it's funny. And I think that's true for all immigrants. African immigrants, West Indian immigrants, they want their kids to come over and do well.
Yes.
You know, education is big. You come over, do well. Don't follow the American, way of doing things. But so that was really interesting. So a lot of things that Margaret Chao spoke about
and her life, and then you know, to see it, you know, and go back to our experience,
right,
and then kind of see the overlay there. But I thought what was also kind of interesting is when she pulled into the discussion with Lisa Ling and her career and her trajectory. And on the part of coming up in her career, you know, she was becoming successful, more renowned, getting more gigs. And, you know, I think she worked at CNN. Where was it? Some other news.
I don't remember her for that long.
It was a short stint.
Yeah,
but in
I
National
remember.
Geographic.
Yeah, Connie Chung, because Connie Chung.
Well, she was epitome of news.
And she'd been around for such a long time. But
Right.
Lisa Ling, not so much. But she had
No, she had a very extensive career. I remember her on Nat Geo. I remember her on a little bit of CNN, not as big.
right.
But what was kind of scary to know, or maybe not scary, but the part where she talked about when she got ranked as the hottest journalist.
Yeah, one of the
the year.
hottest. The year. Yeah.
And then the nerve of the coworker to do that racist thing.
I know.
And I'm just like,
I
ooh.
couldn't walk around. I mean, imagine her having to walk around after that warning. Who the hell did that?
Exactly. And how her day was just like crushed. She was on a high and just, you know.
Day.
Yeah.
That would last me months and years. That's,
I know.
you know, because I would not be able to trust anybody.
No.
You know?
No.
It's like painting a cross or a KK sign.
Yeah, burning a cross outside in the front yard or some crazy stuff like that.
Oh, no, my office, you know.
Oh, yes,
Right,
yeah.
you know, scarring up my window or something. It would be something like that. And, you know, something where you don't tell anybody. You
Right.
pick your battles.
Yes.
And I'm sure she picked hers. But, you know, something like that would be, I am working among the enemy.
I know, but
It does not feel right. Yeah.
I don't know, but that's a battle I think I might have to fight.
Yeah.
Because that's some straight up.
What about, in COVID?
I know.
We had all this
Oh
Asian...
God, the hate here
Yeah.
in the U.S. was just ridiculous.
Well, and it was fostered too by
the
our
right-wing nut
leaders.
jobs.
Yeah, our leaders who
the
said...
right-wing nut jobs,
Yeah.
not our current leaders. We love President
the
Biden.
orange dude who said
Yes.
it was a Chinese...
Yes,
Yeah, he's
that
stupid.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they tend to lump all Asians into one group. You
Well,
notice
and not
that?
even one group, one kind of caricature of what that group should be.
Exactly.
Which
And the
is-
same thing with black people.
Exactly. Right? We were supposed to be all Sambos and big mamas and stuff.
No, the fact that our culture is so diverse.
Yes.
They think we all think alike.
Right.
Africa has so many different nations, so
Correct.
many different tribes, so many different languages.
Exactly.
And no one acknowledges that. But
But you know,
this is not our podcast
yeah.
about Africa.
But we'll
or
put
black
one.
people in America. But you know,
Yes.
it's that what they've done to Asian
Exactly.
people. Yeah.
Exactly. And try to put them all in this one little group. No,
Right,
that's
exactly.
That's not how it works.
So, and Margaret Cho talked a little bit about her abuse and, you know, some of the things that she went through. And one of the things I liked was that Meghan brought on an expert,
Yes.
to talk a little bit very intelligently about her book and how, some of the effects of that and, you know, what that looks like.
Exactly.
You know, so that we would understand. So it's not just Meghan giving her opinion. It was an expert on here coming along.
Right, giving
Yes.
the actual background on why this phenomena is occurring or what it's called.
Right.
And, what can we do to change that?
Right. Now let's talk about Hollywood.
Uh-oh.
I grew up watching a lot of shows.
Yes.
And a lot of shows didn't have not one black person in it.
I know.
But I think non-white people have the best imaginations on the planet. We could watch something, like it or not like it, and not see our black faces in it.
Right.
And we don't necessarily, feel that it's not something that we cannot do. We just know that we're missing.
Correct.
Missing from that picture. But we could insert ourselves into that picture.
Exactly.
And act it out in our minds mentally. Some of the people can act it out.
I know.
So why can't, our counterparts have the same experience? Why is it Hollywood always has to say, well, we don't know what...
we don't know if the audience will want to
has
see...
the appetite for Asian.
Right, for an all Asian cast. Which is bull crap.
We see all white casts all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, and they did that thing with Black Panther. They were shocked.
Yes.
Black Panther outdid everything.
Yep.
Nationally and internationally. And the same thing with
Crazy Rich Asians.
Crazy Rich Asian outperformed
Yes.
nationally and internationally.
Yep.
So people have to get over these racist stereotypes.
Well, some of it's almost like, would you call it an unconscious bias?
Yes. Right.
Thinking that, only, white people can be in rom-coms. No, you can have everybody.
Everybody in a rom-com. It's
Exactly.
sort of like that guy who was on the train. It was black and white. He went way back. You probably don't know. Is he Chaplin? Chan? I don't know. But it was this dude who used to play Asian, and you could tell it was a white dude.
Mickey Rooney, or not Mickey Rooney. Yeah, he played the Asian guy in Breakfast at Tiffany's, which was the most racist.
No, it was another one.
Okay.
Let's go back when
before. So it was a silent movie. So you were thinking of Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, I don't know if was they all silent. I don't know, but anyway. So from that today, we have Scarlett Johansson.
You still have some erasure of the Asian culture.
Yeah, we have Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai.
Okay, he is not.
Why it's gotta be white?
Why did they, of all people?
I know, and not only that, but you see in Japan, there's this thing of a samurai. He was black, and he had, I don't know, he probably traveled over there, migrated over there, and he became a samurai. But he was black dude from Africa.
Right.
He would have been better to play it.
Yes.
But anyway, I wouldn't have wanted him to play it because there were more Asian actors who were quite capable, as being the last samurai.
Well, there's some historical reference of, yes, but
right.
Yep, I totally get you.
Yeah,
Yes.
and like, what was Matt Damon in recently? What was that?
I don't know, but he shouldn't have been in it.
He shouldn't be.
Just like Tom Cruise, just like Scarlett needed to sit her little self down.
Yeah.
Look, don't get me wrong. No, I didn't like her in Marvel
Yeah,
movies. I'm sorry. I did
we-
not like her as the Black Widow. Okay, you guys can shoot me for that, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
But when she tried to play Asian roles, there was one, it was an anime character. She shouldn't have played it.
Yeah.
Just like Emma Stone, she was supposed to be a Hawaiian woman. Okay, first of all,
There's so many actresses of that culture. Pick one from that
Exactly.
culture. If there are none from that culture, yeah, go that way.
then and only then.
Then it,
But there's so many.
Vine probably tested for that job. And
Exactly.
then he probably looked at, no, she's too Asian.
Matter of fact, don't even go away. Pick another nationality.
Exactly. And when you have a show where it could be any race playing,
Oh,
then
God forbid it's a fictional character and...
Yeah, any race playing it, then pick from any race. Like the Little Mermaid being black. Okay, people, the Little Mermaid is not real.
Nope, fictional story.
It's a fictional, so she could be any color. She could be Asian next year.
I know.
She could be any color,
Exactly.
any race, anything. So having her be African American person, and the big uproar, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Exactly.
So,
But I'm sure that's how, Asian people must feel when Hollywood tries to cast these roles.
Right.
And not even look to see
Right.
who. And then also,
Latinas.
exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we know. So
which a whole nother, again, you can't lump all into one group because of so many countries, so many cultures.
Yeah, but definitely with this, Hollywood being hostile towards Asians and not seeing them, they only see them as a certain type, playing a certain type of character. Me so horny, or
oh god, that was oof.
All that
oof.
other
I didn't
stuff.
know it was from Full Metal Jacket, that soundbite that they sampled. Oof.
Yeah, because things in the back,
yes,
you hear it and you don't focus on it. You just move along.
Right.
So you just insult a whole race, a whole culture, and no one focused on that and said, hey, do we really have to have that in that?
Exactly. Well, that's the misogyny, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Yeah.
But yes, no, but the fact that they always either over-sexualize Asian women in roles,
right,
or it's the extreme where she is the dragon lady.
Right. Yeah.
So don't get me wrong, there's some kick-ass moments. But no, I shouldn't have gone there. Okay, I'm going to hell. Going to hell.
Well, Asian women will beat you up.
I saw what is it? Now I'm gonna get butchered for it.
But
Counting Dragon? No.
But no, it's not in the movies. I'm just talking about my personal experience when I was cooking in church with the ladies in the kitchen.
Yes.
And I know some Korean, but I don't know all the Korean. So when
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Okay, no, not even that. So I'm trying to do this, and you're talking about legitimate beating up. No,
I know, and that's what I'm saying.
No, this is not right. And I'm doing something wrong. I was chopping the cabbage wrong for the kimchi, and instead of telling me, well, she tried to tell me, but I couldn't understand, and I wasn't looking at her. I was doing something else. I'm thinking I'm doing it right, and she
slapped her hand.
She slapped me. No. I was like, okay. You get that one. I was messing up. But had I not understood that cultures, when people are trying to communicate and they want to teach you about their culture, they could be emotional or whatever about it. You just roll with it. You don't just, you disrespected me. Right. And next thing you know, her and I are fighting. There's cabbage all over the kitchen.
She messed up the kimchi.
She disrespected me.
No, luckily it didn't go down like that.
And it didn't.
She learned the right way to cut it.
It's just that you have to understand where you are, what you're doing. And the same thing, when we're trying to teach them something, they've learned, to do it the right way. Well, and we've had to teach them a lot of stuff to do it the right way.
Especially about language and other things.
No. Thanksgiving turkey.
Oh my goodness.
But then we're not going to go into that one. But anyway, so it's like, So anyway, I just wanted to mention that, and it's it's not Asian women being aggressive or anything like that, and you can't go that way. Oh, they're all like this. No, they're not all like that. Everybody, people, everyone, gets stereotypes. There's some hostility around them, and there's also abuse. I mean, some of the things, sometimes when we went to church and everybody was sad and it was like, what's going on? And we didn't find out till later after church, and we were
in fellowship.
We were in fellowship, and come to find out that one of the Asian women, she doesn't speak English too well. I would cook with her because we take rounds, like who from the Asian English service would be helping out in the kitchen to prepare the meal for everybody who's sitting there waiting. And she's one woman I help, but she worked in the dry cleaner. And this white male decided that he did not like the way his shirt was done. And a complaint wasn't adequate for him. He reached over and slapped her in the face. And, here's a woman that was probably in Korea, in her own country, probably had a 4-year degree.
Yes.
Probably a well-established woman. But because she's in America, the family all put together, they have a dry cleaner, and she's trying to make it.
Yes.
And
to have that happen.
It was like, whoa.
Yep.
It's
actually a lot of the people in the church were 4-year degree. I mean,
Oh yeah, the guy who had
one of my students, his
Dad.
parents, his father,
Right.
was a nuclear physicist,
Right.
but couldn't get a job in the U.S.
Yeah.
Luckily, he was able to get a job with the university,
As
but still,
in the maintenance
but in the maintenance department,
yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah, but the people are proud. Work for them is very proud. They don't care. They wanted to work and make it better for their kids, and that's why they sacrificed and came over. So there's a lot of abuse all across the board. Against all races.
Yes,
And I think Meghan's podcast say we have to be tolerant of people, and we can't buy into these archetypes. We just can't buy into them.
Exactly.
Because they're not real.
No.
And it caused people legitimate harm.
yeah, people have died.
Yeah.
Yes.
The guy who shot up that parlor, the salon, it was a hair salon or a nail salon in Florida.
And he decided to go crazy.
Yeah. And the excuse on the news, he was sexualized. He was.
It was a massage parlor. No.
Yeah, it was like women. He was just horny.
No, there's
whatever
no
it
excuse
was
for that
for
bullshit.
him. He just,
No,
that
I know,
was
but
just
they put every kind of cover for
excuse
him.
on
Yes,
that.
yes.
So it's like we have to,
We have to think-
we have to take care of each other.
We do. And hopefully with, as she continues on, and we don't know who the next guest will be, it's, some surprises.
But we totally enjoyed this one. I thought it was, it touched on so many things that we had to go off and dig deep into, our past experiences, get the book of the author that she had mentioned, and, read about people, learn about different things and different people, and,
But one thing about Meghan? One, I love that she always loves food and brings food into the conversation.
Food, because food is it. That's the only reason we can go to the Korean church. It's like,
the food! Yes, so I'm sure she's had the same experience with her, the same thing.
right. After all, we're the only black people we know that can, in our family, they can eat with chopsticks.
I know, and not just any chopsticks, the thin stainless steel ones.
The metal ones.
Yes.
Yeah. And we like to rub it in their faces, don't we? We go to a restaurant and it's like, no knife and fork. Why the chopsticks?
Yes, exactly. Like, what?
Yeah. Or we have to walk with our own chopsticks.
I know, right? So,
But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you.
No, you're good.
Her talking about food, it brings people together. It's
That.
Yes.
Well, food always does, right? I think any culture, if you attempt to try their food and attempt to speak the language, more receptive than not.
Yes.
And,
there's a
even in my travels. Commonality?
Yes. Between all races and all cultures around food.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some of the basic things you do, like your Vietnamese stew that you make, or it's so close to Trinidadian.
Yes.
Trinidad and Tobago, our stew chicken.
Yes.
Yes. And it's just so much, Yeah.
And some spicy kimchi on the side.
Yeah.
Ooh, honey.
Still working on
Well, you got the japchae down.
yes, I got a chop down.
So you got to work on the japchae. I got the, 한국어에 조금합니다. Right? At least I can speak a little Korean.
Yes.
You're like, I don't know what she said, but that's what she said.
I know. No, I know what you said. Your Korean was better than mine. I was,
She wasn't paying attention in those classes, the Korean language classes.
I was learning the formal. And you, young man.
아니요, 선생님.
Saying, I only know a little Spanish, a little Korean, but in the formal language,
Yes.
whereas you were just not formal language. And yeah, let me tell you about her. She goes to the Korean beauty supply store and she speaks Korean to get discounts.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Hey, so learning about another culture and
Get the hook up.
Yeah. And just being, respectful.
Yes, definitely respectful.
And understanding, we're all going through different things and we all coming from different places,
Yes.
it works.
But this was the other thing I was going to say. Meghan's voice was so melodic.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like she's singing when
Yes.
she's speaking. right? And it's just like, oh, this is just so calming.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can listen to her all day and like, oh, damn, the episode's over.
Yes, exactly. But I like that she leaves you wanting more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, which is good.
Yeah, you shouldn't, if she goes on too long, you'd forget half of what she said and you say, oh, this is too long.
Right.
But I like the timing, just enough. Now you go do your work.
You go do your work. Yes.
You
Go be good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but she's still continuing on because of the latest projects with the Vine Project and actually helping out women.
Oh yeah, you want to mention that? Yeah.
Yes, but it's not even just about helping other women in the community. It's a way to help younger people become philanthropists.
Exactly.
And invest back in their community.
Right.
So finding and recognizing other people and presenting them, I think it's $1,000 per grant, and you know, sharing that with the community. And like, say there's a person in your community, like right now Genesis, we have the Genesis community. It's woman founded. You know, they do a variety of aspects to help domestic violence survivors and help people who are in the process of getting out of those abusive situations. And you know, to be able to like give back to something like of that nature, and now spreading it across the globe.
Exactly.
So now the the Vine Project. So now that's out. So very excited about that.
Okay. So, you know, she's doing a lot of things, and her next podcast will be coming up. I don't know who's going to be on the podcast.
We don't know, but I think it's supposed to be a surprise guest. But then
goody.
if you think about archetypes, we've already covered
Divas,
yes.
competitiveness,
Yes.
singleton,
Yep.
and
Singletons, yep.
and now Dragon Lady.
Yes.
So let's see what
There's some
next.
other ones out there.
Oh, there's
Ooh,
so
huh.
many. There's so many.
Did we get through the she's a bad bitch? No, because
No.
oh my god, do you think she's gonna end it with Beyonce?
I don't know. Maybe she'll end it with you and me.
That's in our dreams.
Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Please subscribe and
And
like our podcast. We really like hearing from you.
Thanks, guys.